Perfection is not attainable, the legendary coach Vince Lombardi once declared, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. This aphorism serves as a powerful philosophical cornerstone for a football club standing on the precipice of greatness. For Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, the pursuit of excellence has been a painstaking multi-year odyssey. The foundation, forged in tactical innovation and cultural revolution, is now unequivocally set. The team stands atop both the Premier League and their Champions League group, a testament to their evolution. Yet the ghosts of seasons past, moments of physical frailty, dropped points from winning positions, and the looming spectre of injury whisper cautionary tales. The crunch time is here. This is not a time for chance, but for a calculated, multifaceted strategy to transform a brilliant start into a historic finish. The machine has been built. Now, it must be calibrated for the final conquest. Forget what you think you know about winning the Premier League. Let's reverse engineer the game plan Arsenal needs to conquer 2026, building resilience from past heartbreaks and optimizing current resources. This is an architecture required to finally lift that trophy. Let's dissect this in detail. In the modern Premier League, a single rigid identity is a death sentence. Whether it's serial winners like Sir Alex Ferguson or Pep Guardiola, the best of the best have shown us they need to evolve themselves to win. To conquer this unforgiving landscape, a team must be a tactical chameleon, capable of adapting its form and function to overcome any obstacle. For Arsenal, this means evolving beyond their established patterns into a truly polymorphic attacking and defensive unit. This evolution requires a three-pronged approach. Firstly, the polishing of individual repertoires. The strikers must transcend reliance on high XG chances and develop the predatory instinct to convert low-probability opportunities in high-pressure moments, the kind of goals that define title races. The creators, like Martin Ødegaard and Eberechi Eze, must refine their ability to pick locks against the most compact low blocks, while also possessing the vision to slice through high-pressing opponents on the transition. Defensively, the unit must move from reactive to proactive, with each defender capable of dissecting and neutralizing their opposite number with surgical precision. Secondly, this demands dynamic tactical switching. Arteta must cultivate the ability to seamlessly shift formations and approaches within games. This could mean morphing from a 4-3-3 possession structure to a 3-5-2 to see out a game, or deploying an unexpected high press after a period of passive defending to shock an opponent. These in-game variations serve as a surprise factor, preventing opponents from settling into a comfortable defensive rhythm. Finally, it is about perfecting the art of game management, knowing when to suffocate the game with sterile possession, when to unleash chaos with vertical attacks, and when to strategically slow the tempo through controlled fouling and astute positioning. This is the final layer of on-field sophistication that separates great teams from champions. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, Michael Jordan famously said, and that is why I succeed. This sentiment is the key to unlocking Arsenal's psychological potential. Clubs like Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea have waited for multiple decades for that green patch of success. It's never as straightforward as it looks. The painful collapses of the 2022-23 and 2023-24 seasons should not be viewed as scars of failure, but as the calloused skin of experience. The blueprint for mental fortitude is built upon these very lessons. The first principle is reframing the narrative. The team must learn to find optimism in the smallest victories, a goal, a successful tackle, a well-executed press, and use them to build an irrepressible snowballing momentum. This cultivates an unwavering belief that they can win any game from any position against any opponent. Leading, trailing, or drawing, the internal conviction must remain absolute. Secondly, this requires compartmentalized focus. Each player must be utterly consumed with their designated role, blocking out the external noise of the title race and the weight of expectation. It's less about the grand prize and more about the nitty-gritty of winning the next duel, making the next pass, or holding the defensive line. The captain, Odegaard, and senior pros like Rice, Saka, and Big Gabby becomes the on-field organisers, ensuring this collective focus never wavers. Thirdly, the manager must become a master of emotional regulation. Arteta's role is to manage the moments, knowing when to inject passion and when to demand calm, while ensuring the fear of failure never permeates the dressing room. This is complemented by the fans, whose role transcends mere support. In moments of adversity, they must become a source of blind, indoctrinated belief, an unconditional roar that provides the extra psychological push when legs are tired and minds are wavering. Less emotion, less overthinking, more execution.
While the current squad is formidable, a title-winning team is often defined by the marginal gains provided by one or two key acquisitions. For Arsenal's 2025 aspirations, the most logical X-factor signing is not another dazzling attacker or a titan defender, but a specific midfield profile, a high-intensity, box-to-box terrier. This profile addresses a subtle but critical vulnerability observed this season, a drop in collective intensity during the final 30 minutes of games, often as fatigue sets in. A player who is a relentless presser, a ferocious tackler, and an energetic ball carrier would be the perfect tonic. This individual would not necessarily replace Declan Rice, but would act as his perfect foil and support system. They could be introduced to see out a game, raising the team's energy levels and cleaning up loose balls. Crucially, they would share the immense physical load placed on Rice, allowing him to remain fresh and mitigate the risk of burnout or injury during the season's most demanding stretches. This is not a signing for the highlight reel, but for the engine room. It is a strategic acquisition designed to solve a specific data-supported problem, maintaining peak physical and tactical performance for the full 90 minutes, week after week. It is the kind of shrewd, unglamorous reinforcement that secures championships. Every title-winning side in history has mastered the subtle, often unseen art of managing referees. This is not about cynicism, but about professionalism and weaponizing the rulebook. In an era of VAR, Arsenal must move beyond mere complaints and adopt an empirical, data-driven approach to officiating. This begins with emotional discipline. Pointless bookings for dissent must be eradicated. The team leaders, Odegaard, Rice and Gabriel, must be trained to communicate with officials respectfully and rationally, building a cordial rapport rather than an adversarial one. This subtle psychological advantage can influence marginal 50-50 decisions over the course of a season. Furthermore, the club's analytical department can identify refereeing patterns. Certain officials may be stricter on challenges from behind, while others are more lenient on time wasting. Being armed with this data allows players to adapt their game to the specific context of the official in charge, playing by the rules while still gaining an edge. It is about understanding the human element of officiating and using intelligence, not aggression, to navigate it. Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United were masters of this art. For Arsenal to win, they must become equally astute students of the game within the game. The unprecedented fixture congestion of the modern football calendar means that the Premier League title is as much a test of sports science as it is of footballing ability. With a win-first mentality, every decision regarding player workload must be geared towards this singular goal. Arsenal's rotation strategy must be both proactive and nuanced. This involves a shift from traditional rotation. Instead of resting key players entirely for lesser games, the focus should be on in-game minute management. For instance, if Arsenal are comfortably leading, key players like Saka or Rice could be substituted after 60 minutes. This reduces their accumulated fatigue and injury risk over the long term while keeping them in a competitive rhythm. It's about a micromanagement of load, ensuring they remain terminally fresh.
This strategy ensures that for the season's biggest showcase games, against title rivals or in Champions League knockout ties, the team's most indispensable players are in peak physical and mental condition. We have seen continental giants like Real Madrid, Bayern, PSG, Barcelona, and in England, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City dynamically rotate players before these crunch games. It is a calculated approach, prioritizing the moments that will ultimately define the season. Minimal, unexpected squad refreshment in some games, coupled with aggressive in-game substitutions in others, will be the key to navigating the marathon and ensuring the team is sprinting, not crawling, across the finish line.
The path to ending the long wait for a Premier League championship is not a singular road, but a convergence of 5 distinct pathways. It demands a symphony of collective will where every member of the Arsenal ecosystem plays their part in perfect harmony. It requires the players and staff to execute with tactical fluidity and psychological steel, the board and ownership to provide the final strategic reinforcements, and the fans to offer a relentless bastion of support, especially when the winds of adversity blow. By addressing these 5 critical areas, on-field adaptability, mental fortitude, strategic recruitment, referee management, and intelligent rotation, Arsenal can finally cure the mistakes of the past and complete their arduous ascent to the summit of English football. The chase for perfection is on. Excellence is now within the grasp. Thanks for joining in. This is the Arsenal Blueprint, and that was the 5-step architecture that can augment Arsenal's long-time hunt for that major trophy. Thanks for watching. Drop your comments. Did we miss anything, or what else we need to do? Drop that like, and don't forget to hype, share and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one, and until then, come on the Arsenal.